Oh, yeah, I got that. This is we're live.
All right, taking your word for it. Welcome back, Baseball Life. You are now above the dugout. I'm Vince Mercandetti, joined alongside Matt Whelan. Matt, this is your debut to podcast initiation here. How's everything going?
It's going good, man. I'm excited to start this with y'all.
Nice, yeah. And Matt, some of you probably know, is an admin in Baseball Life as well. He is obviously my partner for this show. The show is called Above the Dugout, in case you missed that. We're going to be pretty fast-paced. We have a lot to get to today, so we're going to jump right into it. Over the weekend, probably the biggest story right now going on in baseball is Luis Robert, White Sox prospect, I believe number 3 in the game right now, so mega prospect. Signed a 6-year, $50 million deal, another $38 million guaranteed, brings the total to 8 years, $88 million potentially. Matt, 2 club options at the end. They basically bought out all the RBers for $50 million, then added some club options. How do you feel about that?
I like it, but I just feel like it's safe.
You feel like
safe. It's like a safe move for Luis.
Yeah, so it's interesting. What the White Sox are doing is interesting, right? They've made a few moves this winter that have been helpful. Grandal signing, everything like
Keuchel.
that. Yeah, Keuchel. They also are locking up that if my count is correct, they have 4 players on that team that they signed to a major league contract before they ever played a game. And counting the, Jose Abreu and Yohan Moncada, now they've done it with Luis Robert. And last year they did it with Eloy Jimenez, who signed a 6-year, $48 million deal with a maximum of 8 years, $75 million, which kind of makes sense if you compare their prospect caliber status. Eloy was not as big of a prospect, so he's going to make less money up front, but definitely something. White Sox, I would consider like a mid-market team. We saw a little bit of a trend of this starting last year. You're an Angels fan, I'm a Yankee fan. Obviously, neither of those are mid or small market in my mind. Yep. Why haven't the Angels done this with? Are they going to do it with Adele? What do you see about that?
I could see them doing it with Adele, honestly, but I think they're waiting for him to actually hit the MLB market to actually let's see what he's actually worth. But there's no other prospect on the Angels farm that I can see them really actually extending before they hit the MLB. Maybe Marsh, but that's only because Joe Adele is basically blocking him when he goes up, and Upton is also blocking him. So they want to lock him in long term so they don't lose him in either a Rule 5 draft or they have to DFA him because they have nowhere else to put him.
Yeah, it's a good point. So one of the cruxes in this is that you need a mega prospect, or else it doesn't make any sense. And,
yeah, exactly.
So Eloy last year, obviously very early dividends. I would say he was fine. He had a good season. He was hurt for part of it, probably not as great as I think some White Sox fans thought it would be, but he also wasn't a bust. He proved he can hit at a major league level.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, Robert, I think they're expecting the same thing. I always look at it like this. The first 3 years for a major league player, you're probably making like a few $1 million max. You might make 2 or 3 million because it's pre-arb. Teams get to decide your salary. You're going to make at least 555,000 or whatever the minimum is, but you're probably not going to make much more than that. It might come out to 2 or 3 million. It's those next 3 years that gets interesting, because if you do turn into a superstar,
it's am I getting underpaid or?
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at what, 6 to 10 million the first year, probably 12 to 15 the next, and then you're in the 20s. If you're like a Mets type by the final arb year. So that's when these contracts start to really get interesting. I don't think the White Sox necessarily got a deal in the arb years, but where it comes in handy is those club options at the end that bring you to 6, 7, 8 or 7 or 8 year deals, because those are way below market value if you're a superstar.
Way below.
We saw this, of course, with the Braves last year, and we have a lot to say about the Braves. I'm sure throughout the year we'll have a lot to say about the Braves and all of their con artist moves and fraudulent decisions. But so last year, one that I think was fair, Ronald Acuna was signed to an 8-year, $100 million extension. It's an extension because he already played a year in the majors.
Yep,
Right off
exactly.
the bat, he signed 8 years, $100 million with 1 year of service time down, which I think is pretty much fair, especially now looking at those two deals we just talked about. Now, let me throw one other contract at you on this topic, and you tell me if you think this is fair. It's a player who is a middle infielder, had a great rookie year, and then he signs a 7-year, $35 million deal. It's like one of these doesn't match up. You've got Robert for maximum 88 million, Eloy for maximum 75 million, Acuna maximum 100 million, and then Ozzy Albies maximum
7 for 35.
Yeah, it's. I can't wait for 10 years from now or however long it'll take to find out what was going on in the backdoor deal to get that deal done with his agent.
Yeah, exactly.
Just pure fraud. And God, I mean, Braves fans can just shut up about, oh, he really loves playing baseball. Like, that's why he signed such a shitty deal. Like, no, he got scammed by someone.
He got raped.
Yeah, like whether it was his agent, his family, or the Braves, or whoever it was, something happened there. Like, that just isn't natural. The Braves aren't just like magically great negotiators compared to everyone else.
735. What's the math on that a year? 735.
We got $5 million a year. That's
an average. Did he just do it just for like the security of $5 million a year?
I can't even understand it on the front end because, like I said, maybe 2 to 3 million, in those first 3 years. So he's profiting there. But God, yeah. Even by his arbitration years, he'll make more than $5 million a year.
Yep.
And that buys out 2 years of free agency because he had already played a season. So it's crazy. We're getting early feedback. So Acuna's deal is team friendly, right? It is a little team friendly. Obviously, if he's a superstar, he could make 60 million in just those last 2 years of the deal. And I get all that. But still, I think it's more towards the market value of players who do these deals than Acuna. And it's closer to what we would see from Robert and Eloy, all things considered. So all of that said, that's kind of the big news of the weekend. Luis Robert signing that extension. White Sox looking to get into pretty good situation for 2021. They're really doing a lot of things right.
Oh yeah, they're looking good. They're looking really good.
Yeah, and they're in a division that's good to do it. So now let's shift a little bit to teams who aren't doing so well and are kind of useless. That's the Pirates, Marlins, and Orioles. Those are the three I've singled out. Those are three of the four lowest payrolls. The only one not included in the four lowest is the Rays, who, of course, do everything right except win a World Series. That may come. Orioles will give a little bit of a pass to because they are still rebuilding. I mean, they still are god-awful, still rebuilding. They don't really have a core yet to speak of at the major league level that you build a contender around. But the Pirates and Marlins, I want to play a little game. Let's name Marlins and Pirates transactions. You let me know what you think of them, okay?
Okay.
So we got we'll start with the Marlins first. They've had the better offseason. They traded for Jonathan Villar, claimed Jesus Aguilar off waivers, and signed Matt Kemp to a minor league deal. Those are all of their transactions except guys that you've never heard of.
Oh, okay. Because I know they traded Jose Espinada or something today. Or we traded him for one of their pitchers, Keller.
They have a few deals. They've had a few deals of kind of lesser prospects. So the Villar and Aguilar ones are the major league deals. I included Matt Kemp just because he's a name brand, even though it's a minor league deal with an invite to spring training. Those have probably been the sexiest moves they've made.
I don't know. I think Kemp's got a shot. I think they want a veteran on their team to show that young crew that they have, to help guide them and stuff. But I don't know. I think he's done.
Yeah. What a fall from grace. I mean, I guess it's been a number of years now since he was like almost a 40-40 guy. But
what was the last time he was 13?
I think it was around then.
13, 14?
He had a weird prime.
Sure. Very weird prime.
But
Villar deal, I don't know. That's either going to work out for him or it's not.
Yeah. Well, hey, very deep. Yeah, no, I know what you mean though. Villar is, yeah, I liked him a lot. I don't know if it's because I didn't like him because he killed the Yankees, but I respected him a lot because he destroys us every single game. Uh,
Yep.
and I don't know if I'm seeing him through the lens of someone who's probably, I think he's better than he is, but I like that deal actually for the Marlins. And I from what I've heard, he's a pretty good clubhouse guy with young
Yeah,
players.
that's what I've heard too. He's like really like down to earth and gets along with a lot of people. So that
Yeah.
might be like instrumental with their young staff.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So Marlins, not much going on, but they never do. And then the Pirates are really the winners of the winter. They signed eighth string catcher Luke Mail, and that's been it. That's their entire offseason.
Oh,
But yeah, that concludes MLB transactions for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
oh wow.
That's a franchise. There's no excuse to me because they had guys like Josh Bell. Obviously, we know the Archer trade didn't work out, but they've had cores like throughout
Yeah,
the
they've
year.
had a good core throughout the years. They've just never taken it and actually done something with it or built around it at all.
They never do a they never extend their core. Like they never do anything that the White Sox and Braves have done, and they never build
No.
around it. So that's the one team in Major League Baseball where I can honestly say, since they had that little playoff run and started trading things off, they've had no plan. Like there's nothing. They're not competitive. I don't understand how they get away with it.
No, not at all. I don't see them as a competitive team. It's just after, like you said, that one playoff run, they just haven't really done anything to really improve or actually make the extra step forward to get to the playoffs and actually get there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And plus, they don't want to spend any money.
I know, ever. It's unbelievable.
Ever.
It's unbelievable. It was pointed out. Sean Flannery, he's he also someone actually who has a show here, pointed out that Villar actually lots of complaints from a coaching standpoint. So he's good in the clubhouse. That part's true, but kind of bad example in the field. So that sounds
kind of
like a
sucks.
Marlins deal.
So he's one of those guys who's like, I'm gonna do it my way, like screw your coaching technique or whatever.
Basically, the Marlins got a good deal on him because of his problems, so that makes more sense. Talked about the Pirates; they never seem to have a plan. But here's some other teams that have kind of no identity. And when I say no identity as a front office, I don't necessarily mean they haven't done anything. It's that I don't really know what they're doing, and I'm curious if they feel the same way. Pirates obviously are one of them, but then we also have the Rockies, Giants, and Diamondbacks. Now, one of those is probably not like the other. Giants should have sold on Bumgarner. They didn't. They should have sold on all of their core, and they really didn't trade anyone. They kind of kept it together until it's a rotting corpse, which it is now. And the Rockies extend Nolan Arenado last year, 8 years.
And now they want to trade him this year.
Yeah, 8 years, $260 million. They're pulling a Giants with Odell Beckham. They lock up their guy. Now they want to get rid of him.
Yeah, exactly.
And they don't. So we don't like what signal is that sending? Are they trying to compete, or are they like going into a rebuild and they panicked after they just locked up their franchise guy?
I think it honestly sends them into I think they're panicking and going into a rebuild.
Which is weird because I don't, maybe again, I'm being biased, but I like their farm system. I think they've got a lot of position players who could be really beneficial there.
Yeah, I can see it. I don't know. It's just weird because like they signed their best player to an extension, and then this year they're just like, okay, let's try to shed this salary and get rid of it. Well, what are you going to use that salary for once you do get rid of it, or if you do?
Yeah, they're spinning their wheels to an extent, right? Like I don't like when teams get in or get out. Anyone who is following me in baseball life had a conversation with me. I didn't like what the Mets did last deadline, but I will say this: at least they did something. Like they had a plan. I didn't agree with their plan, which was buying when it was pretty clear to me, and probably most people who aren't Mets fans, that they weren't going to make the playoffs. I didn't agree with that, but at least they committed to something. The Giants,
they had a plan, and then they executed it. Was it the right plan? Probably not.
Yeah, but the Giants, San Francisco Giants, have not they haven't committed to anything. Like, I don't know what they're doing or what their plan is. And again, they let Bumgarner walk, which leads us to the Diamondbacks. Now, the Diamondbacks signed Madison Bumgarner. But again, I don't understand. I don't agree with the signing because with the amount of innings he has on his arm already and where the Diamondbacks are, both, it's a decent farm system. It's a decent major league product. By the time they're ready to take that jump from maybe a low to high 80s team in terms of wins, Madison Bumgarner is going to be a back end pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
And exactly. Now they just gave him 8 figures. So 8 figures, 9 figures. So I don't get it. Diamondbacks seem like they're like the Mariners of the NL. They're like perpetually in this 80 something win.
I could totally see it.
Yeah. And I don't include the Mariners, by the way, because I think that it may not be smooth, but they at least are trying to consolidate their players. They're, a little bit of a fire sale here and there.
Yeah.
It's not really a time in that division to strike with the Astros and A's in it. And nice segue into your Angels. Now, the Angels have had a plan. We know they went very hard after Garrett Cole. They didn't end up with him. We know that they signed Anthony Rendon to a 7-year, $245.
Yeah.
Which I like that deal.
I like it. We've been struggling at third base for a while. Like our best third baseman in like almost 8 years was David Fletcher last year. He was good defensively, held a good average, doesn't hit for power, but he gets the ball in play and stuff. But it's good to have someone solid at third base and not have to worry about it every freaking game.
Yeah, and Mike Trout needs a friend, he
needs protection, and he actually got that.
Yeah, so I get what the Angels are doing. I mean, ideally, they would grab 1, maybe 2 front end starters. We know they've got, I talked about it on Dong City. They got Tehran, they got Bundy for the rotation. We're not impressed by that, but they're trying.
They're making an effort at least.
Yeah, so I personally thought they were a great fit for Zach Wheeler, and it didn't seem there was much steam there at all. I don't even know.
Well, Wheeler wanted to stay on the East Coast for his wife.
Did he? Okay.
We had no chance.
Yeah. All right. So in terms of player wise, I felt that Zach Wheeler was a great fit, but if he didn't want to go out west, he didn't want to go out west.
Yeah, exactly.
West giveth and taketh away.
Yep.
So that's where the Angels are. I like the Rendon move. Again, that's a team who said, hey, we need to get better. We're ready to get better. We have the money to get better. We have the core to get better, and they're trying to get better. It's not always going to work out. Teams make bad moves. Sometimes they don't make moves, whatever the case may be, but you have to try something.
Yeah, exactly. You at least got to try.
I'm an Angels fan. I'm excited. It's pointed out on the comment section, J.A. Happ, and I totally agree with this. Good fit for the Angels.
Yeah, they're looking at Clevenger right now. It's like, go after Happ. It would cost less and just go after him.
Save Joe Adell.
Yeah.
He's not in there yet. I agree. Get Happ. Good. Look, we obviously want to dump him, but he's a good tutor. He'd be a good tutor to a lot of the younger pitchers.
No, exactly. Yeah.
So,
And he has consistency of actually being good and he do it. I don't know. Maybe it was just Rothschild that ruined the dude.
I guarantee you. I mean, look at Sonny Gray. That's all I have to say to these every time this gets brought up. Sonny Gray goes and he pitches exactly how every single one of us thought he would pitch in Cincinnati because he wasn't being tutored by Larry Rothschild.
Yeah, exactly.
It's foolproof. And moving on from that, so Anthony Rendon obviously leaves a hole in the Nationals. Nationals plugged that hole a little bit today with a 2-year deal to Daniel Hudson. And Eric Thames 1 year, $3 million. So they had 2 guys, a little bit of spare parts to a degree. Hudson, I think, got hot last year, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So Nationals seem perpetually to always be adding to the bullpen, and who isn't in Major League Baseball. Thames obviously is going to be some depth for that Major League roster. What do you think? What do you think of the Nationals? Henry and I talked about it last time on our show, but what do you think of the Nationals in general and their chances this year?
I think they do actually have a good chance. They showed us last year that they can come from behind and actually grit their way. But losing Rendon is pretty huge. Like, he was one of their best clutch hitters all of last year.
Yeah.
Regular season, postseason, they wouldn't have won a lot of their games without the clutchness of Rendon. So losing him is huge. Have they replaced him yet? I don't know. I don't think so. They need to go after Donaldson and try to get him to actually
keyword Josh Donaldson. And I agree with you. There's definitely a void there. They've got a lot of guys who are aging, getting into their mid to late 30s. It's kind of a scary situation. I'm not saying that window's closed, but it's getting a little scary and risky there. Josh Donaldson. Sorry, go ahead. Do you have more?
Donaldson did have a good comeback year last year too, I would say.
Donaldson opens up the floodgates to a lot of topics right now.
Yes, this is true.
So, obviously, here's two teams who I think have the most pressure on them right now from now until the end of the postseason to make a splash. Minnesota Twins and the Atlanta Braves, and they're both in on Josh Donaldson, and with good reason. Twins, huge pressure. They just won the Central. They just won 100 games. They got like a joke in the playoffs. I think that has to probably sit with an organization where they're like, we gotta. They want
we gotta do something
to get over a hump. Yeah. And all they've really done is retained Pineda and Odorizzi. Nothing huge. They lost out on pretty much every starting pitcher they've gone after, and which is weird to me because it's the Central and a huge ballpark. You'd think pitchers would like it, but I guess they didn't go too hard. They're in on Josh Donaldson and not feeling great about it. Braves are in on Josh Donaldson playing the usual Braves waiting game where eventually they'll probably drop out. But for now, they're in on him. Donaldson, I see, is seeking 110 million. I think the offers are probably in the 90 to 100 range.
Yeah.
What's your take on all this?
I think, the Twins, I think they're lucky that Barrios actually accepted that QO and didn't walk into free agency, because that actually gives them a nice, solid two, maybe an ace one day. So Donaldson, I think they should go after, but that price tag at 110 for 4 years, I don't think it's worth it.
It's going to be a bad deal, but
he'll give you a year and a half, maybe 2 years of production, and then the other 2 years are just going to be him as like a veteran tutor.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a downside, especially to a 4-year deal for Josh Donaldson.
Yeah.
Pointed out Twins banking on Rich Hill and Bailey, Homer Bailey. I mean, come on, that's like an Uber driver pitching in the playoffs on the road. It's those guys are not winning the playoffs.
I mean, it's a good like reclamation project, but I just don't see it working out for him.
Yeah, so in my mind, big pressure on the Twins to get something done. Big pressure on the Braves to get something done. I just don't think they are quite that finished product. They seem to always be the bridesmaids. And again, this is what the Yankees had problems with until this winter when they signed Garrett Cole. They don't know how to step on the throat, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Great major league team. We know they're making the playoffs. They're probably winning their division, but they don't know how to step on the throat. And Garrett Cole finally is that move. They got a bona fide ace, probably a top 2 pitcher in the AL, no matter how you slice it.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
Shogo Akahama just signed a 3-year deal with the Reds.
Yes. All right. Didn't he already sign that? Was he just announced?
Yeah, they just announced right now.
Okay. Yeah. So Reds team making moves. I like them.
Yep.
Yeah, so now there's a team I left out from this Twins Braves thing, and basically we can categorize this as teams who are good who need to do like 1 more or 2 more moves.
Yeah,
that's the Astros, which is a whole other can of worms.
Yeah,
the Astros obviously caught cheating. They're despicable, just the worst franchise you possibly ask for. I hope they fold. I hope Altuve retires out of sheer embarrassment. I'm going to say most of that won't happen, but what hasn't happened also is that they haven't made a huge deal this winter, and they probably need to. They've lost a lot of talent. They lost Cole. They lost their catching. Well, Maldonado came back, but they lost Trinos. Verlander and Greinke another year older. So again, same thing as the Nationals. These are 2 teams who were in the World Series last year, but things getting a little bit riskier.
They've lost key pieces to both their teams. You know, they're basically in the same spot. The Astros actually might lose more key pieces when this investigation is over and suspensions and stuff were handled out. So we don't know how that's going to play out either.
So the investigation, yes, pending. And I wonder if Major League Baseball has some sort of private arrangement with them where they can't sign major free agents. But
yeah, they might lose their own coach for we all know.
Total speculation, but
yeah,
it's got to be a tough destination to draw major talent right now. They probably don't want to deal with the repercussions of whatever comes down, and something will come down. I don't think they're going to be vacating titles or anything, but I do think they're going to get it. They're going to get hit hard, way harder than the Braves were hit for their prospect scandal. Will Harris, another one. I knew I was forgetting one. He's gone. So they've lost good pieces in their bullpen. They lost their best pitcher going forward.
Another Nationals bullpen arm now.
yeah. So so Astros, just a piece of shit organization. And I think we can all agree there. There's no Astros watching this anyway. They've all been kicked out of the group for violating policies.
Basically.
Yep.
And if you look too,
look
at their numbers with the trash can and without the trash can at home.
Trash can never lies, man. We don't even know how good the Astros are at this point. So,
no, we really don't.
Yeah, that's what's crazy. Yes. I mean, so we have no idea what to expect from the Astros. That's why the A's as a Yankee fan are the team I fear the most in the AL this coming year. I think the Yankees have definitely can see it over the hump. What's that?
So I can definitely see the A's, the Yankees, of course, but the A's, they just need to get over that hump, and they need to win that one elimination game.
That rotation,
or at least they can fight. I can see them fighting for the division this year, especially with the Astros.
I agree. If they win the AL West, that's a legitimate World Series contender with that
for sure.
and the players that are already there. We're getting a request to ban the stadium, which I completely agree with. Haven't been to Minute Maid Park. Also, for the record, haven't been to Oakland. I know that they're going to get replaced soon. Baseball stadiums in general, interesting to talk to. I told my story on Donk Say the Reds are my NL team after going to Great American. Wasn't my favorite stadium, but it was my favorite experience. We got free pizza. We had Zilla come around and shoot cannons shoot T-shirts like 300 miles per hour at people's faces.
That's cool.
It was a lot of fun. Reds fans that have that happy-go-lucky Midwest thing going for them.
The Angels do. They do. The Angels girls come out and they shoot T-shirts and the T-shirt cannons too. It's pretty awesome.
I like that. So I've been to the Angels Stadium. I've never been to a game there, so I didn't get the game atmosphere. I did like it. It's got kind of like a corny Disney vibe going for it.
Like Pride Rock in center field.
Yeah, but like in an endearing way. Like it's something in a 90s movie, and you'd be like, oh, that's nice. I wish my team played there. Yeah.
Well, interesting fact: the big A would still be behind center field if it didn't incur structural damage in the move of the when they actually did renovations. So it actually got structurally damaged while moving, so that's why they basically put it in the spot now, so they didn't want to fuck with it anymore.
I thought Mike Trout just destroyed it somehow.
Yeah.
If not. I mean, real quick, top three, what are your top three stadiums?
My top three stadiums?
Yeah.
Let's see. I've only been to like 12, so let's see. I'd say
you've only been to almost half of them. I understand. It's probably tough.
Yeah. I'd say Safeco, Petco, and AT&T Park. Well, now known as Oracle Park.
That's cool. I've never been to any of the three. Is there a favorite between those three? You've got like the whole West Coast covered. I've got the East Coast covered.
Yeah, I'd say Petco and AT&T are tied.
Ah, okay, nice. Everyone who goes to that Padres stadium says it's great.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's beautiful. They have the second largest what's it called? Videotron in baseball.
Yeah, all right, nice. I like that. Yeah. My favorites are going to be more of the boring historian. I think Wrigley was probably the coolest experience in terms of it's beautiful to watch a game there, and it was like a super baseball atmosphere. Coors was really neat. It was a lot. I shouldn't say it was a lot better. I heard good things before I went there, but I mean the view at Coors was amazing. I think that's probably like fourth though. Like Wrigley and Fenway are really hard to beat for the history. Just it it feels like you're in like the 1950s watching the golden age of baseball.
Oh yeah, I can totally feel that, and I can't wait to visit both.
Yeah,
because I love history myself, the Civil War, anything about like especially American history, baseball history. So those are like my top two stadiums to visit because one, they're the two oldest now.
Yeah,
and I'm so
like
bummed that I never. Yeah, I'm so bummed that I never got to see old Yankee Stadium.
Yeah,
but I'll visit the new one day.
Yeah, I mean, old Yankee Stadium was the acoustics. You couldn't beat it. I mean, you felt like
I'm sure.
Like the other team, you felt like they were going to die before the game ended just because of how loud it could get there. But you know, much like Fenway, this is why I think I give the edge to Wrigley over Fenway. Wrigley is actually pretty comfortable to sit in seats there, you know, by standards of how old that stadium is. Whereas Fenway is actually, it's like kind of shitty, but it's so cool with the monster and just the atmosphere that it kind of supersedes it. Whereas Wrigley's kind of more of a best of both worlds, and Wrigleyville is the greatest place on earth if you're a baseball fan.
Oh, that's awesome.
Or none.
I hear there's a lot of like obstructive views too at Fenway.
Yeah, so last time I went, there were definitely, because they've got those like poles.
Yeah, the columns coming down.
Good kind we talk about on Dong City, but they've got some poles that block the view because of, you know, how old the construction is. But yeah, so I mean, Coors was cool. St. Louis, total shithole city, but the stadium is beautiful.
Oh yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, and Cardinals fans, if you look like me, are just the nicest people ever. So so that was my St. Louis.
But the city's just a shithole.
It is totally a shithole. Everyone hates it, including the Uber drivers. Yeah. So, and that's, you know, kind of the final point on the stadium thing.
Yeah.
Is that none of these stadiums should get public funding. I know I don't really need to say that. I'm sure there's some idiot out there who's going to disagree, but it's so ridiculous to me that they go into taxpayer money to build these stadiums. I understand they get jobs and whatnot, but that's been proven time and time again to be a deceiving statistic.
Yep, very deceiving.
How much it actually benefits the community. So, yeah. I only say that because I know Oakland is getting a new stadium. The Rays obviously looking for a new stadium. I just fundamentally disagree with public funding for stadiums.
Well, and just about Rays getting a new stadium. Now the Rays are talking about playing their games in two separate cities.
Yeah, which that's ridiculous too. And I don't understand why Montreal is even getting a look, because baseball's already failed. Like, if your logic is okay, they can't play in Tampa because St. Pete failed. Why is the alternative?
Go to Montreal. It already failed once too. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. So we've got 6 minutes here before Johnny Gio Ortega is going to join us. You guys have something you want to talk about. It's going to make all of us hungry here right before dinner time. But before we do that, is a segment that we will have going forward here on Above the Dugout. It's going to be a top 5 segment. And top 5 segment, basically, Matt, we're going to play a game where I have a top 5 every time we have a show. And our next show, by the way, is exactly 2 weeks from today, same exact time, 5:30 Eastern time on January 20th. And I'm going to give you a top 5. It's themed, and I'll give you the theme. And you have to, I'll tell you what the 5 are, and then you have to guess why the answers are the way they are. So I'll give you an example that was a little confusing. We had the first segment that we're ever going to do here on Above the Dugout, and it ties into stadium funding a little bit, is things baby boomers love.
I love it.
I have 5 things, random sampling, won't tell you how many baby boomers, but a random sampling of baby boomers. We have top 5 things that baby boomers love. I'm going to read you each one. This is going to be a speed round, and you have to tell me within 3 seconds why you think they love this.
Okay, go.
That sound fair?
Yeah, it sounds totally fair.
Perfect. In the meantime, real quick, I need to invite Johnny Gio into here. So,
oh yeah, let's go, Johnny boy.
Yeah, let's build up the suspense. We don't want Johnny to be missing. Johnny was all over the Facebook groups today,
yeah, he was.
advertising your show, so you just couldn't get more publicity than you have right now. And for Johnny, if you're listening, the invite's there, buddy. So, okay, so here we go. Baby boomers, top 5 things baby boomers love. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, number 5, we just covered it. Publicly funded stadiums. Why do they love it?
Because they love taxpayers' money.
Millennials need minimum wage jobs to count towards employment numbers in this economy, and as long as they are making under $15 an hour with non-guaranteed hours and benefits of any correlation to inflation, this pleases baby boomers. It's a real win-win since they get to not only be the only ones to afford tickets routinely, but they also get served by the children they already failed. That's
Why
one.
do baby boomers love lining their pockets?
That's right. You were close. You're in the ballpark, but not quite there. Let's see if you can get one. Number 4, ice cream in a helmet. Go.
It reminds them of a nostalgia time.
Ooh, so close. That's so close. It reminds boomers of when times were easier, so we're on the right track. Having it served to them by a struggling millennial makes the dairy taste creamier for them, and it invites a 17-minute lecture on when milkmen existed and how their 6-bedroom downsized second home in Southeast Florida is devoid of convenient dairy farms for fresh ice cream for their grandkids. Number 3, labor stoppage resolutions in sports. Go.
I don't know.
Oh, God, you got shut out there. Boomers hate labor stoppages because it's a sign of poor work ethic, and they hate unions for acting entitled, even though they're instrumental in inventing them and bringing them to power. They only like sports resolutions if the owners win, because nothing says American dream like billionaire owners benefiting from silver spoon nepotism, crushing the people who mostly grew up poor from their profits, because the last thing a boomer wants is socialism in their sports, unless it's in the form of team parity payroll caps and limiting earning potential in a capitalistic economical structure. After all, we aren't all from Venezuela like 6-time All-Star Maglio Ordonez. What do they even know about completely non-socialist programs like Social Security and Medicare? Here we go. We're almost at the end here. Number 2, Internet of Things technology. Go.
They just hate the internet.
No, but they love Internet of Things, especially Alexa. The comforts of Alexa's streamlined efforts and her sweet, soothing voice comforts boomers. There's nothing more special on a routine day of the week than asking Alexa to do mundane things like turning on coffee machines or fish tank lights. Why do that with the push of a button when a computer who sounds like a millennial and doesn't talk back can do it for you? They respect Alexa extra because she never asks for a raise or shares her salary with anyone.
Oh, that is great.
And the final one, Matt, this one's an obvious one. Baseball. Why do boomers love baseball?
They love baseball. Oh, fuck. Because it reminds them. What?
Yeah, you ran out of time. Of course, number 1 is national pastime. Boomers love that they can still taste apple pie when a 67-year-old manager elects not to shift. And they remember the days of Willie Mays every time Mike Trout shaves his head. Baseball's the ultimate boomer escape from society, and don't you dare speed those games up. Nobody has anywhere to be. They're all retired. There you go. That's been the top 5. Whew, man.
It says you left the meeting. Oh, no, that's
I'm here. We just lost Johnny. He's not.
Yeah, where did he go?
Shouldn't be offended at all. All right. Whew, man. Let me let him know it's in his email. Anyway, so yeah, like I said, our next show is going to be January 20th, 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, 2 weeks from today. We make it very simple. We're going to try and keep it to Mondays. It's Bachelor season, so who knows if I'll be able to keep up with it. But I think as long as we're done,
talk about the Bachelor.
Yeah, as long as we're done before 8, we should be fine.
Yeah.
It's a big day for pop culture life, by the way.
I'm open all day on Mondays too, so we can do it literally anytime we want.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Pop culture life, and this will be pretty interesting. Pop culture life is they've gained about 50% of members overnight because they were featured.
Yeah, because of that More Together campaign, which is freaking awesome.
Yeah, so it actually passed. It had like a third, like 2/3 of the member of Pet Life. It passed that. It's catching up to Football Life. It's just been a huge.
It passed Food Life too.
Yep, those shows, the pop culture ones are going to be huge, and I think that tomorrow is the first debut, yeah, with Felipe and Katie Roman.
Yes, it is, which I'm very excited to watch.
Yeah, so anyway, we are kind of up against it here. We've got about 5 minutes left. I don't see Johnny, but
Where is Johnny?
I don't know. We can talk to you. You are also half of that show.
It's like perfect. Where's Johnny?
I don't know where he is. But so let's Yeah, you have a show called The Lab, right?
Yeah, we have a show called The Lab. It's going to focus on food. My pit master skills, basically ins and outs of barbecue. We're going to focus on travel. We're going to focus on health. All the in and outs, basically, of what our group already entails. We're just going to be talking about it. And then the first episode is going to be basically introducing ourselves, talking about our experiences and stuff like that. But we will eventually bring on like recipes, and we'll be eventually cooking on the show and showing you guys like ins and outs of different recipes and stuff like that.
Cool. So, okay, and a little bit of background. Now, Johnny, I guess I'll share for him. He plans on opening up his own sort of thing. I don't know how much public knowledge it is, so I won't share any more details, but he is a chef by trade, and plans on kind of doing his own thing sometime. So I know that you are kind of along those same lines. Just give us a little bit of background as far as, because you guys are actually like legitimately trained as far as food goes. So give me a little bit of that background.
Yeah, I have culinary experience. I've gone to school, all that whole old ordeal. I have 15 years of restaurant experience, back of the house, front of the house, mostly back of the house because of my passion of cooking, of course. I've spent the last 10 years basically perfecting my barbecue, though, like smoky meats, getting that temperature down. And then I have a great idea about like when I open my one place, I want to take barbecue and fusion it with international flavors. And then you have Johnny too, who's working on his own hot sauce called Johnny Blaze. It's going to hit a store next to you one day. So like, that's all my experience. And just, I love food. And I love like the coolest thing about food is like, it's a learning experience the whole way out. Like you're always learning something new. And then you're taking in, basically you want to take that to the next step. And that's what me and Johnny are going to hopefully do with this podcast, and hopefully do when we both open our own restaurants.
It looks like we got 2 minutes here, Johnny. He just joined. Here he is for the last couple of minutes of the show. As soon as he gets his audio going, he'll be in here.
Sweet. Yeah. Welcome, Johnny.
There you are.
J-Rock.
Nope, still can't hear you though.
There we are.
Yeah. I hear you. Nice hat. Is that a magic Star Wars hat?
Yeah. Hey, can you hear me?
It is. That's awesome.
Awesome. Hey, man, that's a collectible right there.
Ball is life and pop culture life, ladies and gentlemen.
This is for the lab right here. Body by
There
Bacon.
You go. And now food travel.
Yep. I got it all. Hey,
so Johnny, we were just talking about your show. Give us a little bit of background as far as your connection with food, your professional background, and what we can expect from the show.
Yes. Well, I have been a chef here in Central Florida for about over 28 years. I've went to culinary school, of course. I actually went to the University of Disney. I don't know if a lot of people know about that, but you can actually do a lot of trades over there. A lot of they send you to school. So anyways, worked there for 15 years, and I've been in commercial kitchens pretty much my whole life, man. Since I was 16, I'm 47 right now. So I started working when I was maybe 16 years old in Connecticut at McDonald's, and ever since then. And of course, the passion comes from my dad, who was also a chef, and my mom, who was also a great cook. With that said, what you'll be looking forward to in this show would be just a little bit of what's going on in the group now, but more personal. You know, everybody just writing and texting each other. But I like to, just a little more personal, and we do what we love to do. We got a West Coast chef over here. You got an East Coast chef, and he's
love it, buddy.
He's a pit master. If there's anything about barbecue, you go to Matt, and I'm just all around general chef. I studied Italian food, and that's why I always make more Italian than anything. But that's it.
That.
I know you do.
Awesome. Well, all right. Well, guys, good luck on Wednesday. What time is your show?
Hey, the show's going to be Matt. What is it?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock on Wednesday.
Eastern, 3 p.m. West Coast time.
Okay.
Anybody in this group in Baseball Life right now, there's not a member of the life group, the Food Life Health and Travel. Please come join us, man. It's fun. It's a pretty cool group, man. I think you guys enjoy it, man. If you love food, you love to travel, and you like taking care of yourself, come check us out, man.
Awesome. Thank you. That's been Johnny and Matt. This has been Above the Dugout. Thank you for joining us. We will be
Awesome
back
job.
in a couple of weeks, and check
Yes,
out
we will.
the lab Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern time.
I'll be there.
Have a good one.
We'll be there.
Have a good one, guys.
Hey, see you guys in the lab.
All right. Bye-bye.